Hello everybody, and welcome to our first video today for the Maormer Legion. Today we're going to be discussing how to make a male Maormer character in Elder Scrolls Online. I made a previous video, but the quality for audio wasn't satisfactory, so I decided to redo it. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over to Ebonheart Pact and go over to a Dark Elf. And the mentality behind this is, one, you get white eyes and you get white skin, which is one of the many classifications of the Maormer that makes them different. Altmer, this is how white their skin gets, and obviously it's not very pale. Some people suggested becoming a high elf and then getting vampirism as one of the ways to counteract this, but in my opinion you're just sacrificing skin color for the eyes, and the eyes for vampires, obviously, and you have the veins, you have the red, you have all that crap, so I would suggest heavily against it, and I would just try to stick with the dark elf. Yeah, so here we go. For your class, you're going to want to stick to Sorcerer, mainly because of the lightning bolts and shock fields, which gives a lot of damage and area of effect abilities for the Maormer. For body type, I usually tend to stick it right here for males. These are up to the discretion of the creator of the character. Skin color, I try to keep it right here on the palest. There is another pale that I guess you could use instead, but it's sort of more blue than white, and this is the whitest one you can get without the use of vampirism, which again I would not suggest. Height, I would keep it at the tallest because obviously high elves are extremely tall and the Maormer are descendants of high elves. Face shape, I like to keep it in this bottom left circle because if you go too far this looks extremely dark elvish, and you go up here and you basically look like an orc or someone who lifts 500 pounds and takes all the protein shakes. Alright, so I like to keep it in this area, but again, I would say that's up to you. Possibly keep it somewhere, maybe here. You just don't want to go too far into angular, or else the cheekbones becomes too pronounced and you get a lot of those harsh edges that the dark elves have. On my channel, I'll be uploading another video talking about different pictures of Maormer and good tactics to use when looking at them. Age, you can obviously you can change this depending on if you want to play an old or a young. Probably only keep it here because there is one old Maormer that's in the game. Hairstyle, I tend to keep it usually what I see. Something like that I wouldn't do. I noticed that this is a common style. This is common. Let's keep going. I would stay away from that. This would be good right here. Just a lot of the stuff that the other high elves would usually have, maybe something like that. Not this. Let's just keep going. Let's try to find something nice and long. Not that long. No, I would say no. This would be possibly, that looks too dark elvish, So let's just go back over here. And I'm just going to stick with, let's go with this one for now. Hair color. There are some Maormer who have black hair. Now, if you read the lore, this is lore breaking, but since ZeniMax does it, I would say this is acceptable. If you want to play a true Maormer, I would go all the way to the left, possibly here, possibly here. The reason why I say this is because, like their skin, their hair is also classified as white, and classified kind of like transparent, jelly-like, which I'm not sure what that would really look like. I don't know what they were thinking in terms of that. Cheekbone size for males, sometimes I like to keep it kind of low, gives their face more smoother style, but I usually like to keep the cheekbones nice and high. It keeps it close to the face, makes the face look more streamlined. Jaw, this kind of depends. I don't really have a picture of a Maormer in front of me right now. Usually I like to keep it kind of low, again for the same mentality. Chin height. If you notice, Altmer tend to have very pronounced and long chins. You especially know that if you play Skyrim, and it's extremely annoying to make an Altmer look like I have a regular chin. Neck size, not really important, I guess. I would probably keep it on the lower side, however, because elves aren't very bulky. Ears, I would say, kind of sort of acceptable near the end, perhaps. Rotation, I like to give it a little bit of rotation that allows it to be more pronounced. Ear flare, ear height, usually kind of higher-ish, not all the way for males. I would probably keep ear tip flare probably around center, maybe a little bit in the back, again for this purpose to streamline. Eye color here, here, and here are acceptable. Maybe not this one. This might be acceptable. This is more of like a gray. Their eyes are classified as like a milky white. Kind of like, I know this may be offensive, but albino. So you have eye size, I think that's fine. Eye angles, I've noticed most males tend to have usually straightish eyes. That might be good. Separation, I think, is okay. Height, I would probably keep it more on the lower side, maybe deviating towards the center a little bit. Squinting, I would keep it kind of sort of where I have it, maybe not all the way to the max. I would keep it definitely away from this for many reasons. He did not just have 10 cups of espresso. Probably center, maybe a little bit squint, because I noticed a lot of the Maormer always look like they're suspicious. So eyebrows, I've noticed that a lot of their eyebrows tend to be very pointy in terms of that they're almost straight up and down. So I would find something like that, probably something a lot thinner. I would stay away from some of the thick stuff. This would probably be acceptable also. Eyebrow height, I would try to keep it low, on the lower end. Skew, I don't really mess with, I find it weird. I've noticed a lot of Maormer also tend to have crooked noses, at least slightly crooked. I would do it in that regard. Height of it, I would probably keep probably around here. Width, I think is fine. Length, I would lower the length for the males a little bit. And curve, I think, is good where I had it. They've never really looked like they've been smiling ever, I think. In fullness, I did that a little bit so you get a little bit more of the gray visible because their lips are gray. So this has been making a male Maormer character. I know we're very limited with what ZeniMax has provided us with, but I believe if you use what you have, you can at least make a pretty good effort. So if you have any questions, please comment below, and if you want to join the Maormeri Legion, go ahead and add me on Xbox and tell me who you are, and I'll make sure to add you. And yes, I'm sorry, I do have this only for Xbox One. I do have it for PC, but I've been experiencing a lot of issues with it, and I prefer kind of not to mess with that, if that makes any sense to anyone. So I want to thank everyone for watching and give me your feedback, and I'll give you another video on how to do a female Maormer.